been to Brighton 2 times now, and people just kind of go up to me in the street. They see I have a Brighton hat with an American flag on the side of it, or I have a Stateside Seagulls shirt in there, or they hear that I have an American accent and I'm in Brighton, and they know who I am. And that's weird to me, and I don't know how to react to that because I'm like, I'm just some guy on Twitter who like shares some memes sometimes. It's not that big of a deal, but it's really cool, and it means so much to me. I grew up, I'm in Baltimore. I grew up a big Orioles fan, so big sports fan all my life. My parents, my grandparents are always big Orioles fans and big sports fans in general. So I grew up around sports and liking sports. And as soccer's grown more popular in the US, and it got a lot more popular as I was growing up, I kind of got attached to that as well. So got interested in the sport of soccer and playing soccer, and then watching the Premier League when it would be on ESPN, and then obviously with the NBC Sports acquisition of the rights there, I got to watch it even more, and decided, I want to pick a team. And being from Baltimore, I didn't want to be, I didn't want to root for a Yankees type of team. I didn't want to root for one of the top six teams. So one way or another, I ended up following Brighton for a season in 2012, 2013 in the championship. And yeah, I fell in love with them, and I've been a Brighton fan since, yeah, for over 10 years now. I think that my biggest goal from becoming a Brighton fan at that point was I want to be able to watch them at some point, even on TV or streaming or something. And because I'd been able to figure out how to find a radio feed for the playoff semifinal. And obviously the Premier League at that point, I think it was the first or second season, they were on NBC, so you could watch all the games. And Brighton was in the championship, and I was like, you could watch maybe a game a month, and Brighton wasn't good enough to be on BN Sports for the game of the month at that point. So I was like, okay, I want to figure out a way to be able to watch them. And that was kind of my goal. It wasn't Premier League, it wasn't finishing in European places. It was just I want to be able to watch this team because I care about them now. So how can I get to a point where I can watch them? That promotion season and that promotion kind of moment when we went up against Wigan, that final day that we went up, it was kind of a strange feeling because we had Stateside Seagulls. There were maybe 20 of us across the US, so I hadn't actually met anybody who was a Brighton fan at that point. And of course, the game that we were promoted wasn't on TV. Couldn't watch it on beIN Sports. I was watching it on a Facebook stream of somebody who was streaming it on their phone in the stadium. And it was just it took me back to that time when I had just become a fan. It was I know that next season we're going to be on TV all the time. This is going to be a lot bigger of a deal. But at this moment in time, I feel like I'm kind of back in that moment when I became a fan, and I'm like watching on some weird stream that nobody else has. It was a very odd experience for that to be kind of the last moment before we kind of became a big deal. It's really important to know where the team has come from and to know where those supporters have been, especially in the case of Brighton, where there's supporters who marched and protested on the streets in Brighton to keep the team from going out of business. So it's not just coming in and just being a fan and you know not really caring about that, because there's definitely going to be that segment of support in Brighton that aren't going to want anything to do with so-called plastic fans, which that's going to be at any club. And especially because we watch on TV, we generally speaking, a lot of Stateside Seagulls haven't had the chance to go over to Brighton yet to watch a game or to kind of experience that culture in the first place in a firsthand experience. It's difficult to kind of bridge that divide, but to understand, where the match going fans are coming from, and really establish kind of those bases, and not be kind of butting against it, but to bring your own perspective in. feels like, I'm kind of like going back home or I'm talking about my hometown team. And that hasn't changed in the 12 years that I've been a Brighton fan. And, starting Stateside Seagulls and being able to kind of establish that for other fans here in the States has been really gratifying for me. And it's been really humbling to see that experience in other people. And, I hope that we can continue to do that for, another, yeah, I don't even know how long, for forever.